Well, it's 1:30. I think that we could get started and then I can just add people as they pop on. So I'm just going to start by introducing myself. My name is Jessica Roerson and I'm working with the Indigenous Business Development Services Program, as well as Sage Hill Community Futures. And we've been putting on a series of entrepreneurial-based webinars for the last 2 years. And we've just started a new year. And we have Sabrina here today with us, who is our first guest of our new year of programming. So before we get started, I just wanted to do a short land acknowledgement. So as we gather here today, we acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respects to the First Nation and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. I think it looks like I'm the only one here from representing my team. So what I'll do is, I'm just gonna let Kaylee in here before I keep going. And I'll just allow our guest Sabrina to introduce herself and her business and her presentation for today. So thank you everybody for being here and joining us.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me and inviting me today. So my name is Sabrina. I am the founder of Grace Consulting. Oh, getting a little bit of feedback. It's a brand and consulting company that meets you in the gray area when you don't know where you're going or what you're doing or even which direction to turn for marketing your business. I am a boy mama, so I've got 2 incredible sons. Don't get me wrong though, they can be a handful at times, but I also find them very strangely amusing. Things I can't live without: chocolate and nachos. And I would add in, Heather knows this, peanut butter too. It's like, I consider it a food group. I am a farm girl turned city slicker. I inherited my strong work ethic from my rural roots and farming family, and maybe a little bit of my grit and determination too. My diverse portfolio expands over 20 years in many different industries. I worked for a software company, a real estate software company, an advertising firm. I worked with web development, investor relations, in the beauty and health and fitness industries, and communications and nonprofit. I earned my Bachelor of Commerce degree with a degree in marketing from the University of Saskatchewan. So today, I want to talk about the hot topic of social media marketing. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have a love-hate relationship when it comes to social media, and I'm in marketing. I'm supposed to love social media and stay up on all the latest tips and tricks. But I want to be completely transparent and honest that I don't, because I have learned that a more foundational and simplistic approach for maintaining it in the long haul and in your business is actually one that can work. And that's what I'm going to share with you today, and some of the secrets that I've kind of learned along the way. Okay, so when it comes to marketing, there are so many options out there. I often feel like I'm drowning in the sea of social media options and the steps, and I don't even know sometimes what to do. So I can imagine, and I live and breathe this world. Many business owners like yourselves are like scared to take that step forward in fear of making the wrong decision or investing your time and money in like platforms or programs and doing all the wrong things. So nobody wants to do that. They want to, take the right steps to attract their customers and clients. And I get it. So you don't want to dedicate yourself to doing all the things in social media, because you actually need to run your business. So your business isn't running your social media, I'm pretty sure. So what do you do then? There's Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube and funnels and email newsletters and Facebook ads and paid ads and search engine optimization, algorithms. Now there's new algorithms that are out of date since last week. You can do reels, posts, stories. Do I add music? hashtags, likes, followers. Oh, and then there's your website that hasn't been built or is very outdated. This is where I was going to insert also a picture of an entrepreneur crying on the floor, but I'm not, because there is a way around this. So there is a simple and sustainable approach. You just need a plan that excites you and clears your brain clutter so you can be proud of your brand and focus on doing the things that you love and need to get done in your business. Does that sound good? Also, I was going to mention, if you guys have any questions along the way, pop them into the chat. I'm not good at multitasking when I'm presenting, but I can get to them after, and I'll leave time so that we can do that after as well. Okay, so you're likely, maybe you're in the start phase, or you're kind of in it and you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're kind of stuck and you're not even taking any action, or you're just frustrated with not even knowing what to do. You may see other businesses out there that seemingly have it all together and seem like they're thriving effortlessly. And I'm going to do a little spoiler alert that they're not. Usually behind the scenes, there's either they've hired a social media specialist, or there's a lot of stuff that they're doing in behind the scenes. So don't be fooled by what it looks like on the outside sometimes. So you can start down this comparison trail. And I think that's where social media stuff has led to feeling this overwhelmed feeling. You can begin mimicking what others are doing. And pretty soon you've created this expectation of yourself that you need to dance every Friday afternoon on TikTok, and you aren't even sure how you got there and why you think that that's something that you need. It's kind of what has happened in the industry. So the things that we'll cover today, why simple and sustainable is best, what the what and the how versus the why in your business, and kind of the differences of what that looks like. Some of what I figure are the must-have platforms, and then what easy implementation can look like. So why simple? Because the market is loud. Social media is very saturated. You have a very short amount of time to capture people's attention. With cats dancing and people jumping out of airplanes, it's hard to keep a captive audience. Simplicity is a welcomed breath of fresh air amongst a really loud digital market. Oops, I think I lost my... There we go. When something is too cluttered with too many images, words, things bouncing, etc., you start to lose sight of the product or service that is actually even being offered, or what even the business does. At that point, you've lost all your brand recognition. When you take all the junk away, a message or product becomes very clear, easier for everyone to digest visually. With this, there's always a delicate balance that you have to play with what is offered in the image versus what is offered in the captions and stuff in the social platform as well. In 2016, Instagram changed its algorithm and posts stopped showing up on people's feeds, even if they were following those people. And then it just started to have this system in behind the scenes that most people weren't aware of until they caught on. So they started to make it only that the posts that have a certain amount of engagement, certain amount of the time that they're lingered on it, in order for it to be ranked and subsequently show on others' social media feeds. This is why carousel posting, so multiple images that you have to scroll through, that's why those started. That's why there's longer captions. That's why there's reels, so that you stay on those platforms even longer. So really, the only hack that you should be worrying about is whether or not your content is on brand and authentic to you and your business. You should not be letting a social media platform decide your social media strategy. So it's unfortunate that that has happened in the industry. And what ends up happening, we fall into these traps of doing exactly what Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok all want us to do. But ultimately, it's serving them, not us. They want us to stay on their platforms. They don't want us to leave. That's why Instagram doesn't allow any links within their captions. That's why Facebook no longer pushes your post. It pushes your post way down if you have an actual URL in your caption. Some of these things, they're not widely known, and you end up spending all of this time and energy on your social media, and it's not even being seen by anyone. And do you think that they really care about your business as much as you do? And I'm sorry to break it to you, but they don't. And they're growing their business and their platform. So you have to take ownership of your own. And then sustainability. So why is sustainability in your social media marketing important? I would say it's because many small business owners are either doing it themselves, or they have a really small marketing budget and do not have the money to pay someone full-time to manage their social media. So these complex strategies are just not sustainable for most small businesses, and that can feel like daunting and overwhelming. And then you always have that feeling of like, oh, I'm behind. I'm never going to be able to keep up, and oh, I should. All the shoulds that you should feel like you should be doing. So you want to be able to have consistency in your branding. So developing a strategy and implementation process that is easy to maintain is best, so that it's not cumbersome and quickly dropped. So Apple is one of like the greatest brands out there. It's simple, you can recall it. That's just, one example of many that are out there. That consistency builds your credibility for your brand, and repetition of a well-done brand creates an incredible brand recognition. So the more you see that image and that color scheme and that apple and that like whatever the brand is, you start to immediately know, oh, that's an Apple product, without even thinking about it. So that's what you want for your brand ultimately. So now I want to talk about, like, I don't know if it's called a trend or if it's just, we hear now that, there's things called social media cleanses, and they say take tech breaks, reduce your screen time. So for marketing professionals, that can seem really scary, or even small businesses that want to promote themselves online. So when the market is being told to take social media cleanses and tech breaks and all that, then we're ultimately telling people to get off of where we're marketing. So then it seems like our marketing efforts are a bit futile. So not only is it rare that your information is going to be seen because of all the algorithms that are in behind, but now people are encouraged to stay off these platforms altogether. So why would we even bother sometimes, right? Like, now that we know all of that, is there any even point? Let alone spending hours on maybe one reel, because reels aren't maybe your strongest marketing way of doing things. But I actually see this as an opportunity. So think back to when websites were first introduced, and people went crazy with information, graphics, animations, endless text, and they were really kind of overkill. But now we see a trend into more websites that are clean, very professional, really on brand, to the point, clear messaging, minimalist, they're concise, and they really capture the essence of that business, and not with a lot of bells and whistles, just very clean and on brand. So this is where I believe a more foundational approach with social media is also beneficial. So similar to a website, think of it as your plot on Instagram, or your plot on Facebook, or your plot on LinkedIn. You understand what I'm saying? So you tell a story with your visuals to ensure that people who come to your social account can tell at a quick glance and through a few scrolls your posts and what you're all about and what your brand is all about. They can get that quick essence. So these are just a few examples. of ones that I think do a good job. You can immediately get kind of like a feeling that is elicited from these different brands. And you can tell their color scheme. You can start to have that brand recognition. You start to see, oh, that's immediately, you start to know that that's that particular company. And this is more where I see kind of social media going, especially when people are told to take breaks from it. I know for myself, I'm on it way less because I'm super busy, but I'm on it way less than I used to be. And if I'm on it now, it's a quick, like, whoo, I pick one platform that I'm on, I do a little, okay, good, and I'm off. So I, even when you think of the people, if you start to do like, oh, am I getting likes and am I getting followers and all of that? Myself, I even rarely, like, I have to make a conscious effort to actually like a post now because I'm just doing a quick little zing by. So even when you're doing your marketing strategy and you're basing it on likes or followers, that might not be a good indication that it's actually working or not working. What I find is that the consistency is what is really important. So if someone comes onto your site or onto your social platform and they see that you haven't posted since, I don't know, January, let's say, of this year, they're going to immediately go, oh, I wonder what's up. Like, what have they been doing and why are they not consistent? And then they might pop on, they might check out one of your other platforms and they'll see something totally different on there. And then they'll go, well, what's happening? Like, are they just on this platform and why? And your credibility starts to just kind of dwindle a little bit immediately. And this is where I find that people are now, they'll hear about a company and then they'll immediately go to social platforms. It used to be Google that people would look up, you know, try to find a business, trying to find their website. But now they're looking these businesses up on Instagram, on Facebook to find out where they are. So think of your social platforms kind of like your new websites, your new little mini websites on there. So yeah, that's the way that they're looking them up. And then, so I like to think of this, like I said, more of like a foundational approach for social media. And yeah, so you're building your online presence, you're telling a story, your brand is concise and consistent. And then I'll get into this a little bit more, but you're scheduling and you're posting to many of the platforms at the same time. And then I encourage you to pick one platform and do it really, really well. So, you know, whatever your target market, and I'll get into that a little bit too, but whatever your target market is most on, that's the one that you should pick and kind of stick with and really nurture. You can't be everything to everyone. So, but I'll show you a way that you can be on all those platforms really easily. And then authentic. So I feel like authenticity is pretty self-explanatory why it's important. The market trends have forced messaging, videos, and content of any kind to be authentic, raw, vulnerable, and as real as it can be, possibly to humanize the digital platform. So it used to be very structured, very kind of cold video content, very edited content, but that is out the window. It's just more the raw, real, you know, couple minutes of just seeing someone's face and understanding kind of who they are as a person. And I think it's great. I think you get a real kind of behind the scenes feel of those people. This can also be conveyed through still images as well. And then I mentioned this before, but when comparison or envy kick in and that feeling of should that can creep into your marketing strategy. So when it's no longer authentic, it's actually just purely copying, and the algorithms actually lend themselves to breeding this type of strategy, because if they're making you think that you need to do reels so that your viewers are on your post longer, but you actually hate doing reels, or like I can't even imagine myself doing reels. I would be I don't know, maybe I will down the road. I shouldn't say never, but the thought of doing them right now in my business is just not on my radar whatsoever. And that's okay. And I'm okay with that. And that's authentic to me. So I try not to I try not to go down the comparison trail at all, which is sometimes easier said than done. So one of the coolest things about authenticity in marketing is that you are actually your greatest marketing asset. Which is free. You just get to be you. The most important marketing message is who you are, not your business itself, nor what your business does. Your best light that is truly only yours needs to be radiated instead of the how and the what your business does. There's only one you and always will be. And you're the marketing tool that will never go out of style or become ineffective. And you won't be able to be replaced either. This particular woman, Heather happens to know her, is an author. But there are many authors out there. But there is only one of her with her heart and her message, her why and her passion. So that's why people would want to come to her in particular. It's the same with you and your businesses. And so why is passion important? So you don't need to look externally for how to market your business. You can look internally to find that fire of why it is that you started your business and what you're most passionate about. This is what flows easily and effortlessly when you're talking about your work. And so you just need to harness that passion and put it into your social posts. That's the most authentic. When people see your passion, they will feel it from you, and they'll want to, that's ultimately why people will choose you. And the common quote, I love this, from Simon Sinek, maybe you've heard this before: people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That's really, there's lots of people in different markets, but they want to know what it is that makes your heart sing. So in marketing, you want to keep your marketing backpack light. Make decisions based around authenticity, simplicity, sustainability, and passion, and it'll keep things nice and easy for you. So some of the platforms that I like to use that I wanted to share with you today, kind of tips of the trade. Most of you maybe know of these already, but it's just good to go over them. So Canva is one, if you haven't heard of it, where you can design your own images. There's a free account for it, and then there's a pro account, just the extra little bells and whistles, but it's still very affordable for a small business. And then the program Later is what I like to use for scheduling. So I'll touch on that a little bit more, but it is a program that you can set up all of your social scheduling. So you can do a whole content strategy and then schedule it in Later, and then it just rolls out so that you can get back to focusing on your business and doing what you need to do. MailChimp is an email platform. There's a free version of it. Oh, I should mention there's a free version of Later as well. So why I chose these ones is there's free versions of every single one of them, and they work just fine, especially when you're first starting out. Then there are upgraded features still at a fairly minimal cost that you can bump up to. So it's an email marketing platform that works very well that you can implement into your strategy if that makes sense for you and you have an email list to send out to. And then your socials. So I put a bunch of them on here. I do not think that all of them are necessary. So you want to be dependent on your demographic and who your target audience is. So do some market research, find out what platforms your ideal clients use most, and leverage that one platform really well and engage there. So, and think about yourself. I think I mentioned that, like, my platform of choice is Instagram. I don't go on Facebook myself. I post to Facebook, but I do not go on it myself. I don't engage on it. I don't really do much of anything on it. But that is my my choice, and that's my own. So if I am your demographic and I'm your target market, you want to know that about me, and you want to be focusing on Instagram as your platform. So Facebook tends to be I would say just in age category, I would say like 45 and up would be about accurate for who is mostly on Facebook. LinkedIn that's where more professionals are. I wouldn't say there's a necessary an age demographic to LinkedIn. YouTube is a platform where people are like the how-to. Everything is a how-to. So if you're leveraging a type of service that's a how-to, or that you can really offer some informative pieces of video on there, you want to be on YouTube. Pinterest, if you are targeting women, you want to have your products or your services on Pinterest for sure. Again, like Twitter, TikTok, like the rest of them are very age specific. TikTok is a little bit broader, but it has, you know, a younger demographic. Snapchat, all of those kind of things. You just want to be, you don't have to do all the things, definitely, but you want to strategically pick and choose the ones that make the most sense for you and your business. Okay, so now to implement. So I like to do what's called a one-to-many approach. So it's taking, so if, and I'm not saying that you need to do video, but if you do video, you start with a video. Start with a video script, something that you're wanting to share with your audience. That then can be transcribed and turned into your blog post. That can then be taken and kind of pared down and put into your social posts. And then that also can be broken down a little bit more and put into your email newsletters that then point people back always to your website so that they can go there to find out more information, to book a call with you, to book, maybe you have an online booking schedule if that's what your business does. So yeah, just taking that one concept and turning it into multiple avenues of distribution for your marketing, which everyone wants it to be easier and not cumbersome. So that's just one idea. And then having a content strategy. So again, this content strategy needs to be authentic, display that passion and your personality. And so I like to use just a plain old Google Doc for this. And so I map out, you can kind of see on that, it's not super big on the picture, but I will map out dates. So, and I like to do 3 posts a week. When I talk to one of my clients and she's like, thank you for telling me that I don't have to post every day. And so that really solidified and just reaffirmed that my foundational approach is needed out there in the market. People don't want to feel that burden of having to come up with content every single day. It's not sustainable at all. And so I like to advise my clients on 3 posts a week. Totally doable. We map it out. We put the dates in there, usually do 4 to 6 weeks at a time. And then we start to just map it out. So we just do a little content strategy of things like quotes, personal photos. I like to do pain points. So pain points for your customers, because ultimately as a business owner, you're solving a problem for them. So you are taking that kind of pain point or that, you know, what it is that they want, and you're highlighting it and you're saying, I am your solution to that. And then testimonials. So you've got happy clients. Let's shout it out and let them know. Events that are coming up, whether you're putting on a sale, show some personality in like your favorite books or things. They're going to relate to you on a personal level and remember you. Maybe you show how you're doing things for the environment. You're showcasing your products and your services. Maybe there's specific industry things that you can highlight. Maybe it's community or trends in your industry. And then this allows you, with having this ongoing Google Doc, it allows you to start just blobbing down ideas. And then you can write when you feel inspired to write. And when you have time, you've got that plan. It's not like, oh, week to week, you're wondering, what am I going to do? And what am I going to post? You've got this ongoing plan that as you see a quote, you're like, oh, that's so perfect. You can pop it into your Google Doc and worry about it for the next month. You always want to kind of want to be a month ahead so that it can just start to roll out. And then when you have events and stuff, it helps that rollout strategy as well. You can kind of be ahead of the game. So the way I do it is I use that Google Doc first, then we create, based on that Google Doc, all of the things that, whether it's a testimonial or you're showcasing your products or services or any of those ideas that I mentioned, then you start to create the images based in Canva. So that's where you can create these on-brand images. So that's the ones off to the left on the screen there. And this is in the Later program. So this is in the scheduling program, just so that you know where this picture is from. And so all the images are created in Canva based on that content strategy. And I always use Instagram, the square sizing for my base. So the reason for that is because Instagram is the most kind of visual in terms of all the platforms. You get to have kind of get a sense when you look on someone's Instagram feed, kind of, oh, it really looks nice. Or you can get a sense that it doesn't look very nice if someone hasn't really thought that through. But all the other platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, it doesn't matter as much, but I find that the Instagram size actually still looks really good on those platforms. So why resize it? Like, you don't need to. It saves another giant step, and I'm all about efficiency. Like, why do things that don't need to be done, really? And again, who's telling us that we need to do that? It's the platform, because they've designed it for it to be, but if this works and the blocks look nice, go for it. So using that square sizing, schedule it all in Later. So you take the images, you load all the images into that left-hand little content block, and then you just drag and drop into the dates. And then it'll bring open this screen that then you can put your captions. You can select, I don't know if you can see the little circles at the top, so which platforms you want to post to, and then you just schedule it. And then when you have the posts going out, you want to schedule them not at a time that it's saying, and not that I think you should go against this, but they'll have suggested times when there's the most kind of engagement or whatever. You can pay attention to that for sure, but do it when it suits you the most, so that you can be on there and you know that your post is going out and you can be on there engaging. So if you've said, comment below your favorite blah, 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 you want to be in there and actually responding and engaging when people engage on your posts. That is another little algorithm thing behind the scenes, that if you get engagement on your posts within an hour after posting, it bumps you up in the algorithm. So another little tidbit that's in behind the scenes. And then in terms of stories, so stories that are on Facebook and Instagram in particular. So you can link those two accounts together so that then stories will show up on either one. So whichever platform you're using, you're getting story content out there. But if you cannot think of story content, or you just don't have the time, I have this what I think is a cool little strategy of being able to have content on there, but not having to create it, is you just post other people's content. So what it shows is that it shows your character. You're supporting other businesses. Maybe it's slightly for your own good, but you're supporting other businesses that you would go to. So it shows, again, your personality, your character. It's supporting other businesses, and it allows people to start scrolling through your content and kind of I'll share quotes on mine. I will kind of build a story throughout the day. I will share I think it's Twig and Bloom is a flower company, and I just love their posts and I follow them. I'll pop a little flower in there just because I love it, and I want people to have a little journey as they go through my stories. I will pop my own posts into the story profile every once in a while. I very rarely actually set out to do a story post or a selfie video or whatever. That's just my own. If that does work for you and that is the strategy that you want to do, awesome. It just has to be authentic to you and not feel like a have to or a should in any way. And then you want to follow your target market. So you want to make sure that you're on the platforms and you're looking at your target market and you follow them so that they start to go, oh, who's this company that started following me? And then you pop into their minds. So and then another little tip is to pop onto other other people doing a similar thing to you in the same industry, but have a really high traffic to their site. So then you start to create relationships and actually engage on their posts. So, comment, say different things, so that then their followers kind of go, oh, who's this company? And you get to kind of play off of their traffic. So their little tip. Okay. And does it seem too easy? Does all of that sound be like, oh, I don't know, but that's the best part, and it's sustainable and it's efficient and it's effective. So if you're interested and want to dive deeper and to know how this system would work for your business, I'm more than happy to chat anytime. And thank you. I'd love to hear about your business and what lights you up. So reach out anytime. I thank you so much for coming today and attending. If you have any questions now, just shoot them out there. I think we've got a bit more time.
That was really good.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, really, really good. Like, you answered so many questions.
Awesome. Awesome. I felt like I was zooming along really fast because I wanted to get if there's any questions for you guys today.
I just have one question, actually. So you use that Later program. Now, I know that a lot of people, like even in Canva, you can use their scheduler. And obviously, you can do that through Facebook or whatever. Why have you found that this one is, let's say, the best one that you've been successful with?
It seems to be the one that allows you to do multiple platforms.
Okay.
So you can push that one piece of content out to, like I use it for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram myself, but I have other clients that use it for those three plus Pinterest, plus Twitter. So it really, it allows you to get a more broad, whereas I haven't found other ones that will go out to all of those platforms and in a nice format. So some of them will go, but it's a little bit more of a clunky format, or you have to then kind of repost or do kind of some things. This one is just like set it and forget it. And so easy to use. Another one that I've used before is called Hootsuite.
Yes, I've used that one before too.
Yeah, I just don't, myself, I don't find it as like user friendly. I find just the way Later has it laid out, you can put the content, those images in there, drag and drop, do your caption, boom, done, you're out. And it saves hashtags. Okay. So you can put a whole block of hashtags in there. You can categorize them. I've got a client that she's a financial planner, so she focuses on like making connections, she focuses on career, she focuses on finance. So those are her kind of three pillars in her business. So we've got hashtags set up for each of those. So when we're talking about a specific thing, we just click a button, it brings in all of those hashtags. Okay. So just little tips like that. And then I don't know when, but recently, Later just now will allow you to post carousel posts. So the multiple scrolling, which they allowed it, but then there was always like a second step that you had to go in and do, and it was like super clunky. But yeah, now they just announced that you can actually just auto publish them now. So that's a pretty big.
Yeah, big. Check it out for sure. We have a question here from Kaylee. She's wondering what age demographic is for Instagram. And she said, thank you. This has all been fantastic.
Oh, good. Instagram, I would say, is, now this is rough, but I would say 25 to 45 kind of in there. Yeah. Not that older people aren't using it, but that is like the majority. Yeah. Under 25 is more Snapchat, their TikTok, those kind of platforms are still pretty prominent for them.
It's really interesting because I looked up your business on Facebook, and I'm in that, I'm 44. Okay. So I'm like the cusp, and it's so funny because Facebook is still my demographic, like for me personally.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I know people who are just like a few years younger than me, and they're completely not. They're Instagram.
Yep, that's me.
And it is fascinating.
It is.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Why I encourage people to like stick with what they feel the best with. Like I know, like for where I want to take my business, I have to get into Facebook a little bit more. So I will head there. But this foundational approach allows you to just get out there and start establishing the groundwork really easily. Yeah, and I would consider myself, what is it called? An exennial. So I'm on the end of the Gen X, but not quite a millennial. There's this like, I read it somewhere. Yeah, like 4 years of like your years that you were born, and where we can go either direction. Like we kind of can adopt a lot of new tech things, but then we can also be kind of like old school in a lot of ways too. And we're the most adaptable in there. So I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. So I call myself an exennial.
I'm just going to read this question here from Devin. So he said, I would like to do DIY videos on YouTube. I could spend an entire day shooting the video and another day editing. Is this an efficient use of time?
Ooh, yeah, that's a very good question. If that is like your sole purpose and where you want to drive traffic to, then yes, it's totally worth it. I would say the editing I would keep to a minimum, because people like raw and is more easily consumed by people, depending on who you're targeting. So there's always a balance of that. But if you're just like and like not really, teeny kind of mix-ups or whatever, that's why I don't do. I think that I would be like editing for days and days. But yeah, you always have to kind of balance it out with if it makes sense for you in your business and who you're targeting. But that video, if you do all the work on the video, can then like really multiply, like I showed you. So it can turn into all the other stuff. If you can get a transcribing software to just turn that into words, and then it becomes all of your other stuff. So doing the videos can sometimes be a really great starting point for a lot of businesses.
Hey there, Sabrina.
It's brilliant.
Can you hear me? I'm Braden out of Regina. I'm just starting up my business right now, and I just have a couple of questions for you. Number one would be, is there like any way to target a location like through hashtags or tagging? Like for example, like the TikTok For You page, right? Like that goes everywhere. Is there a way to target a specific location?
Location meaning like physical location, like a specific city or?
Yeah, like a city.
Only through hashtags, I believe, would be the only way that you could target that. And then aside from that, you're going into paid ads to actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really the only way. But there's a hack. So if you go in and actually look up, like, would it be business? Is it business to business that you're targeting, or is it just customers?
Yeah, business to business.
Business to business. So I would find a whole bunch of those businesses that are in that particular city, and then just start following them, looking at their stuff and popping into their feeds and comment on their stuff and start engaging. And then naturally your stuff will start to pop up, whether it's on their post or somebody else will see it because of their, but then just start putting the, like for Saskatoon, for example, like the hashtag YXC, like those ones are always kind of targeting for specific areas.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's a great point on following the businesses.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh yeah, right? Like think of it almost like marketing in reverse, like you're, yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome.
Were there any other questions for Sabrina? I think we're good. What I'm going to do
Sorry, I did have one more question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I forgot it. It's an acceptable thing to like post the same post to multiple platforms?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a personal opinion of mine, because one is for brand recognition. You can never have your brand out there too many times, whether it's the exact same post or not. And two is that people generally, like I spoke to you about this, generally have one platform that is their platform of choice. So even if they kind of dabble in a few of them, they don't mind seeing the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, I saw that, whatever. They might not engage on it, so they might not click and say, oh, they liked it, or they may use one platform that they engage and they like, or they comment or whatever, but they won't bother on the other one. Like the odd time I'll pop into my Facebook and go, oh, because I'll just see, you know, just based on the algorithm, I'll see different things, or different people will pop up and I'll, you know, comment or do different things on Facebook. But no, it's absolutely acceptable. And from a brand perspective and just efficiency, it does not make sense. It's not worth it to create just a slightly different graphic or come up with a whole different kind of thing to put on one other platform. It's just from an efficiency and sustainability side, it doesn't make sense. And the chances of people seeing the same ones are kind of slim anyway.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thanks.
Great question. Great question. I actually went through a phase of feeling like, oh, is that a good strategy? And like, I've got a couple of clients now that we've got this really foundational approach going, we're starting to kind of dabble. So in Later, you can have, you can set up your captions, and you can drag and drop that same image, but then maybe there's a slightly different kind of strategy or twist on what we're going to target in Facebook. So for example, a client of mine is a hairstylist. And so she wants to, on Facebook, because it's an older demographic, she wants to target and saying like, covering your gray doesn't have to be a boring, like you don't have to do just a boring, you know, gray coverage color. So because that's a more Facebook crowd, we're going to do something a little specific for that approach on Facebook. But that would all back up to that Google Doc where we plan that out in advance, and we build that into our Canva and all of the images and everything. So yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. What is your business, Braden?
So I kind of want to reach out to local businesses to advertise for them. Like on, it's kind of a complex process I'm building up right now, but pretty soon, like we'll be having to go like physically to the businesses or reach out on media to try to recruit them, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe if we have time, if there's no other questions, I'd love to hear what other people are doing, like what their businesses are, if you guys don't mind. Just put you on the spot. I don't know if there's an order that we could go in.
Even if we just go on, like Heather, did you want to share?
Hi, I am opening, crazy. Never ever done anything like this before. I have worked 16 years managing for nonprofit, like rentals and facility stuff. And it's always been my dream to have some kind of coffee shop or something. So I have bought myself a little 1972 Chevy step van, and we are renovating her, and I'm going to open up a coffee shop. So it's going to be a coffee truck. It's going to be based out of Saskatoon, and yeah, just hoping to be up and running this summer. And yeah, pretty excited. So definitely getting the word out there. I think I'm going to basically do Instagram and post to Facebook as well, but Insta will be my primarily the one I'm going to stick with. So yeah, excited to see where that takes me.
It's very exciting. Where are you going to park it?
Right now, actually, I just secured every Saturday morning. We're going to be at the old farmers market downtown. They have, I think he said they have like anywhere from 50 to 80 vendors still, and there's a couple of food trucks. So I'll be the only coffee truck there. So yeah, I'm excited to Starts up at the end of May, right till it's like 20 Saturdays through the summer. And then other than that, lots of private events. Yeah, booked for grads, booked for some weddings. So yeah, things are slowly rolling in.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if we're going to be parked along the city or if we'll primarily be for bookings.
What is the name of your business, sorry?
Traveling Beans coffee truck.
Brilliant. Love it.
Traveling Beans.
Awesome. We had a chat here, a comment. Kaylee is starting a decor business, mostly florals and gifts and some rentals for weddings and parties. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you based out of Saskatoon, Kaylee?
Sorry, I'm having some trouble with my app here. I'm in Regina.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah, I haven't gotten very far with it yet, just kind of making collections of things. I think I want to sort of photograph everything and kind of put everything out at once. So just kind of getting those things together first.
Nice.
Good for you.
What is your business called?
I haven't quite decided on the name yet. I'm kind of looking at, I would have to actually probably register the name. So I'm playing around with a few different things, but I haven't decided. I just want something that really speaks to the girly kind of aesthetic that I'm going for.
Yep. Nice.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Catherine, what about you? Oh, you're still muted.
Oh, I'm Catherine DeBrun. So I'm the co-owner of a plumbing and heating business in Prince Albert, ABM Plumbing. And so I have this business with my spouse. I do the bookkeeping and the social media and things like that. So I think one of the things I need to focus on is my brand. Like I just looked at my Instagram, profile, and it looks so odd. Like there's so many things all over the place where I kind of find it tough with the plumbing business. It's not always the prettiest of things, but I try to make it look and target, people my age. So yeah, thanks.
That's great.
Well, you could definitely have a lot of fun with branding a plumbing business, like based on your, like just your own kind of personality or what you bring or like the quality of work that you do, for sure.
Thank you, Catherine. We have a message here from Betty. Hi, my business is Northern Vigor Berries, and I market my sea buckthorn berry products, berries, tea leaves, gelato, spreads, vinegars, chocolates under the brand named Invigorate. I have posted on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, but I have not been consistent. It's a lot of work. I am based in Saskatoon. So I hope that this was helpful for you, Betty, and maybe you can look into that later program that Sabrina was chatting about. I think it sounds great. So, and what else am I missing here? Okay, I think we have heard from everyone. So that's great.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me, and thank you for everyone attending today. I know it's tough to find time in your day sometimes to pop on to these things, so I really appreciate having your time.
Me as well. Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.